ਧੰਨ Guru Nanak, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today we will be reading Transformation of Egoistic Consciousness Afterthoughts, Part 4. What is intuition as distinct from intellectual knowledge? The reflection of divine light on the mind and the inner experience of the soul is called intuition. Intuition comes from within, but intellectual knowledge is developed from without. Intuition sees the reality in its totality, while intelligence dissects it into parts and gives imperfect or erroneous knowledge of divinity. Intuition is inner experience of the real self, i.e., the soul, while intellectual knowledge is the experience of the outer senses. Human intelligence is derived from ego consciousness and is limited, imperfect, hypothetic, and elusive, while intuition is the reflection of infinite and perfect divine knowledge and wisdom. Intuition is the means of direct communion between man and God. Intuition inducts the soul into the divine realm and gives face-to-face view of the reality, but intelligence can at best formulate hazy and hypothetic vision of reality. Every soul is gifted with the inner faculty of intuition, which can be developed just like the outer mental intelligence. But this intuition cannot be achieved or developed by outward knowledge, intelligence, philosophies, hair-splitting discussions, rituals and rites, religious dogmas, renunciation, ascetic life. This intuitional faculty is a gift of the Lord and can only be developed in deep silence in the inner recesses of our soul. This silence is not mere absence of speech or noise. It is stillness or thoughtlessness of mind, which means cessation of thinking. This process of stillness or silence can be developed by turning our mind inward and concentration on Guru Mantra. This is called meditation. Only in perfect deep silence and calmness, the reflection of divine light or intuition descends on our mind to illuminate it with divine effulgence and wisdom. Even a passing idea, thought, doubt, or wish emanating from the mind disturbs this stillness and obstructs the inflow of intuition into our mind. But the restless mercurial mind cannot be controlled and stilled easily. It requires long, persistent efforts and practice to concentrate it in meditation. In this arduous, prolonged practice of meditation, company and guidance of blessed, illuminated souls is not only helpful but essential. Personal contact or company is the easiest and quickest way of conveying thoughts influencing others. The effect of such influence of thoughts is dependent on the intensity and conviction of one's feelings on the one side and the receptivity of the other mind. Hence, persons of developed minds with deep conviction and strong faith can influence, inspire, and infect weaker minds with their dynamic thoughts. Where vocal exhortations or intellectual propaganda fail to leave any sustaining mark on the minds of audience, the very presence of a dynamic personality can silently inspire and transform the lives of individuals with powerful, penetrating spiritual rays and vibrations, which constantly emanate from higher spiritual souls. The same principle applies to the intuitional writings of enlightened souls, which are ever fresh, original, and soul-stirring. If cultivated, powerful mind can affect the ordinary mind so deeply on the mental and emotional plane, enlightened divine souls can also inspire, awaken, and ignite aspiring souls and introduce them into the subtle intuitional plane. If laser rays and radioactive radiation can penetrate through thick metals, and the destructive flash of lightning can do so much havoc on the physical plane, the subtle dynamic and radiant spiritual rays of divine vibrations emanating from dynamic personality of a God-man can also pierce the thick clouds of materialistic ideas and intellectual conceptions and touch the fringes of the soul of the aspirant and usher him into the divine realm. Thus, the silent dynamic rays of divinity can transform the life of an aspiring soul to a higher plane of spiritual consciousness, being reborn into the divine realm. This is the direct, secret, and sacred method of introduction of aspiring souls into the divine realm on the intuitional plane of consciousness, which has been practiced by prophets, gurus, sages, and saints since ages. In the company of such illuminated souls, i.e. Sat Sangat, the mind is gradually calmed down, harmonized, turned inward, pulled in, concentrated, absorbed, infatuated, and lost in the joy and bliss of divine grace and love. But such genuine, blessed, and illuminated souls, i.e. sages, saints, bhaktas, are rare. As our concentration becomes intenser and deeper, we lose the sense of our body and the surrounding world. During such deep meditation, we lose the sense of our individual egocentric self altogether, along with its elusive creations and ramifications. In such inward stillness, the dawn of intuition descends and develops gradually. As our consciousness dives deeper and deeper into the fathomless divine realm, we come face to face with the reality of divine presence in all its glory. In this sublime state of consciousness, the sense of our separate individual egocentric self evaporates spontaneously with its projections of I, me, and mine. As we grow in meditation, veil after veil of elusive darkness of Maya is withdrawn from our mind until a new revelation of divine presence rises in our consciousness and we are blessed with the grace of God. When such divine consciousness is awakened, we will realize and feel that God resides in ourselves as well as in all other creation. In this state of sublime consciousness, our behavior towards others will be as if we are dealing with ourselves. Only then we can comply with the biblical precept of love thy neighbor as thyself. In this realization of divine self, there can be no duality. The aspirant realizes that only one God pervades and engulfs the whole universe. When the mind becomes aware or conscious of the divine presence within, it is so dazzled and infatuated with the awe of divine effulgence, divine immanence, divine grace, divine glory, divine majesty, divine wonder, divine love, that it spontaneously loses the sense of false self or egoistic consciousness and experiences and enjoys all the divine attributes or gifts of divine grace, divine joy, divine bliss, divine compassion, divine kindness, divine love, and becomes godlike in its divine self.